Hi Pisces, welcome to your December 2021 Taroscope with me, Raphael from Reydiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. Quick note, my readings are for your sun, moon and ascendant sign. So whether you're a sun, moon or rising sign Pisces, this is for you. And I always advise that you watch all three to get a clearer, more complete picture of how they're going to speak to you. With that said, remember they are general readings. Not everything's going to resonate with everybody, and that is just fine. You should always use your own discernment. Before we start, as always, I would like to bless my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise, and they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So for your actions and interactions with the world at large over the course of December, you have... Okay, so you have the Ace of Pentacles. Nice. All right, so it looks like a lot of you are going to be making changes on the material plane this month. For some of you, this might be considerations about where you live. For some of you, this might even be considerations about your work or your career. It does suggest in a lot of ways that you're probably going through you're probably stepping into or onto very different paths than the ones that you'd set out on. So the Ace of Pentacles is usually things like interviews, so job interviews. Sometimes it can be where you're signing the paperwork for a new home. Very often it's a fresh start in a practical sense, like on a really practical level. Now, this also bodes very well for your finances because it suggests that you're switching tracks in some way on that financial sort of level or on that monetary level. This is also a time where you could be giving birth to an idea that has that's really grounded in reality. It's not necessarily stuff that we talk about with Pisces, right? Because you guys tend to be up in the ether and it's all about everything kind of merging into one. So it's not necessarily known for, for its solidity. But I kind of feel like there is a sense of that for you this month. Like there's this... almost like this wonderful, fresh beginning on a material sense. Now, this kind of tracks as well with the eclipse that we're about to have in the sign of Sagittarius, because this is your 10th house, right? So especially for those of you that are ascendant Pisceans, to a lesser degree the sun and the moon, this is about the 10th house, which is all to do with your career. So there are going to be shifts and changes that come to that space, especially over the next 12 months, over the next 12 months, over the next year. There are going to be lots of amazing shifts that take place in that space for you. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out, or what is set into motion this month that sort of unpacks over that time, because this is the last time we're going to have an eclipse in the sign of Sagittarius now for at least about another 9 years. All right, so it's interesting to me how this is playing out now. Before we get into your money and materials, for those of you that don't know, every year on the 21st of December, I put out a winter solstice alignment activation session. Last year I had an amazing guest. This year I have two amazing guests. I've got Heather from Astrology with Heather. I've got Denise from Human Design with Denise, and I have them coming along to be a part of this awesome session. We're going to be talking astrology. We're going to be talking numerology. I'll be pulling cards. We're going to be talking about the human design elements of the 2022 year. It's going to be packed full of information. It's going to be really exciting. So with that said, you can get your seat on the link in the description box below. And as if that wasn't enough, this is the best time of the year to set your New Year's resolutions. This is the best time to set your intentions, because you're working with the tides of energy that are, heightened and strongest at this moment in time. Whereas if you do it on New Year's Eve, it's likely that those things they're not gonna come to fruition as you would like them to. So get your seat, make sure you're there. For your money and materials, you have the Six of Pentacles. So lots of earth here, right? Lots of pentacles. What I like about this as well, there's an element here. So when it comes to your work, when it comes to profession, when it comes to your finances, there's an element here of things really starting to grow or to expand. There is an opportunity that shows up for you around, around December, that could really push you into a different sphere, or it could see you finally stepping into or onto a path, a platform, a job that really feels aligned to you. This is really nice. It also suggests as well that whatever you're doing from here on in, The way that you really enhance your material or financial experience is to do or to give for or to others. There's an element with the Six of Pentacles where there's like a transactional nature of the card, right? It's very much about the give and take. Sometimes this is about the final payment of a karmic debt, and I feel like this could be, for some of you, this could really be a moment of that, where something that you've done consistently, something that's been expected of you consistently, could suddenly end, and you find yourself like, okay, well, what do I do now? You know, this could be really great. It suggests that there's something open for you, which is really, really nice. When it comes to your, you know, and the other part of this as well, this could also be the clearing of a debt, the ending of a debt in some way, shape or form. So that could be really nice too. All right, for your communications and conversations, you've got the Page of Wands. So there are messages coming in for you over the course of this month. Lots of them to do with work. There could be as well, for some of you, an international opportunity that maybe comes through. With that Page of Wands though, this would be a really good month to really think about or figure out what you want to create. Do you want to write a book? Do you want to write a blog? Do you want to do more performance art? If you get involved in any charitable projects around this month, right, they could do really well, and they could connect you with people that you wouldn't have connected with otherwise. So if you find yourself being asked to do some sort of volunteering, you know, if you find yourself being drawn to doing some sort of charitable work, go for it, because the chances are you'll end up connecting with or aligning with people that you may not have done otherwise, and they could be instrumental in some of the things that you want to achieve going forward. I like this as well because it kind of looks like, I don't know why, but there's a sense that there's a microphone being put in front of you this month, right? So in some way, shape or form, you're getting to speak, or you're being presented in a way that is going to feel really great to you. And then for your, for your heart and half, or your love and relations, you've got the Five of Cups. So this isn't the easiest of energies. Usually this card represents loss and mourning, right? So for those of you that are single, maybe this year you feel that, right? Maybe at the holiday season you kind of think, oh, you know what, I'm kind of feeling very single at the moment, right? So this is about finding the joy and the peace and the love and the serenity that you have surrounding you anyway, in the people and the things that surround you now. And you can take that idea, you know, that feeling, and say, right, okay, well, you know what, I'm going to endeavor in the new year to find a relationship, maybe to open myself up again. Maybe you feel ready to date now, and it's not just because you're feeling alone at Christmas. It's more a case of you starting to think, okay, you know what, I think I'm now in the space where I'm ready to find somebody to share my life with, or maybe just somebody to have fun with, you know. For those of you that are partnered, married, or in long-term commitments, one of the ways that this might show up for you is, you know, because you've got this next to the Page of Wands. I don't think this isn't the end of a relationship, but I do wonder if this is some news that comes in, and I touch wood on this, I hope I'm wrong, but I do wonder if this is some news that comes in for your partner that isn't very great. So something that makes them really sad, or, you know, something that, you know, is kind of really hard for them to deal with, or comes up very suddenly, and they now have to, you know, be all hands on deck with, you know, whatever this situation is. It kind of suggests that you might be offering more of a supportive role to a partner, or to a loved one in some way. So for your first week of the month, you've got the Fool card. New things, new places, new people. This is fertility, pregnancy energy, right? This is birth energy. So for those of you that are having babies around this time, congrats, right? It looks like you're having a healthy bouncing baby bundle of joy, which is lovely. For those of you that are hoping to conceive, your first week around this time actually bodes very, very well for this. For those of you that are going for new jobs, maybe signing up to courses, things that you want to study, this is a great time, and it looks like you really are accepted, which is wonderful. For your second, remember as well, this first week of the month is the eclipse energy. So there's definitely something new being initiated here for you. And I kind of, the way that I've typified this eclipse, whatever the that axis has brought for you, this is going to bring you a gift, right? So this final one for all of us, whatever house it falls in your chart, excuse me, we're going to get a gift in that area, right? So I'm here for it, right? I'm all here for gifts. For your second week, you've got the Tower card. So this is something, I kind of feel like this is something that finds its way to you. And it might be something that is, you know, kind of like a blessing in disguise. Maybe you think like, oh gosh, I don't really know what to do with this, or I haven't got time to, you know, to go down that path. But it looks like you have, because it's like, even if you don't have time, the time is going to be made for you. Now, when it comes to your finances and your resources, be careful with money this month. You know, I don't see anything particularly bad happening, but I will say that this is a time where maybe you overspend on something. For some of you, if you do have a car, this second week of the month might hit you in the pocket in that regard. You know, maybe something needs to be replaced, maybe something needs to be looked at. So keep that in mind if you have a vehicle. For the third week, I just want to say from my heart to yours, whatever you do or don't celebrate, I really hope you have a wonderful holiday season. Happy Christmas, happy Hanukkah, happy Kwanzaa. For those of you that celebrate like me, happy Yule. I really hope you have a wonderful time, and I really hope that it brings you the joy and you know, the pleasantries that we all deserve at this point, having gone through what is like 3 years of madness and melee. All right, so for your third week of the month, you've got the Empress, and it looks like your prayers have been answered. You've got this right underneath the Page of Wands. I wouldn't be surprised if some sort of international connection comes in around this time. I wouldn't be surprised if you yourself are highlighted at this time, if something about you is being pushed forward, or maybe, like I said, like this could be one of those moments where there's a microphone put in front of you, and that the way that I kind of feel that might happen, not even how it will happen, but what it will feel like. It's like something about you is being presented or highlighted, and it's like you're almost like you're either being celebrated or you're being given a really great opportunity. Either which way, it's just in time for the holiday season, and this could be really, really nice. All right, and then finally for your fourth week of the month, you have the World card. So for those of you that are planning to travel, I wonder if this is either a delay or a stop in those travel plans, right? So if you're traveling around the end of December, I have to say you may not be taking that trip. You might be either delayed, or it might not go ahead in the way that you thought it would. Just be prepared for that, so that you're not, you know, totally disappointed by it. Another way that this might show up, for those of you that are having to support a loved one, a partner, you know, somebody that is, let's say, special to you, it may be that they have some news about somebody that is passing over, and I really hope that I'm wrong on that. It's really awful, but there seems to be a pervading theme throughout a lot of the second half of the signs this year, so I'm a bit freaked out, to be honest. But I wonder as well if this is something that will be happening on the wider world stage. For those of you that are single, it's very likely to be like the person that you're either meeting or connecting with. It will be somebody that has either an international feel to it, or somebody that is older or more mature, somebody that has that kind of mature outlook to them, right? Whether that's in the mind, whether it's that they're older in, you know, in years, but there is an element here of this person being, you know, they've got their own status or their own stature in some way. Interesting. So your eclipse message, you've got the gate 35 and experience. So I really like this for you. And I'm going to use that word experience in a different way for this card now. I kind of feel this could be off the back of whatever your experience is. Maybe you get a position that you wouldn't have applied for. Maybe you get headhunted, like in some way, shape or form. This suggests that you're being invited to do something because of the experience that you've got. And it might be very, very different or very far outside of the realm of what you know or what you do normally. But it could be really good for you nonetheless. I've got to say, I actually really like this. It will be interesting to see how it shows up. The other thing is as well, whatever this eclipse brings you, don't take somebody else's word for it. You need to experience this for yourself directly. So whatever you feel, Whether it's good, bad, challenging, happy, sad, you own it all. All right. And then your full moon message is the gate 38 and fighter. So the reason I'm smiling is because this card, it suggests that the full moon is going to show you what it's all been about, what the challenges, the hardship, the heartache, the thing that you've always felt maybe was missing from your life up until now may very well show up for you by the end of the month. And when it does, it's going to be a moment of recognition of, you know, like with a partner, they say like sometimes you'll meet someone and you realize why it never worked with somebody else. This could be that kind of energy, right? Across the board. So for some of you, it will be a relationship. For some of you, it will be a new job. For some of you, it could be a personal realization or the release of an old belief. Like this full moon, the energy of this full moon, it shows you why everything that you've had to go through up until this point was worth it. Something becomes really almost like solidified. It's like you can hold it, all right? And the candle's just gone out on that note. With that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Thank you so much for all of your support throughout the year. It really does mean a lot to me. I truly hope that I have been of service to all of you, and I hope that you stay with me throughout 2022. With that said, have an amazing year and a wonderful holiday season. Take care, and I will see you soon.